The hosts and guests on Everything's Messy podcast are not licensed healthcare professionals. The discussions in our episodes are not personalized medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider for medical guidance. Never delay seeking professional medical advice or emergency assistance because of our podcast. We encourage consulting with a healthcare professional before making any significant health changes. By listening to our podcast, you agree to the disclaimer. Thank you for listening to Everything's Messy podcast. Hey, welcome to Everything's Messy podcast, where we celebrate the beautiful but messy life experiences that most, if not all, people go through. Get ready to embark on an exciting journey through the raw and unfiltered stories of everyday people. Here, we dive into messy realities of life, from making messy mistakes to triumphs and everything in between. Are you sensing a theme? That's right, it's messy. But this just isn't about the mess. It's about finding strength and resilience in the midst of it all. We'll explore how health, fitness, and wellness play a crucial role in navigating life's twists and very messy turns. And we'll challenge conventional systems, because sometimes the most unconventional paths lead to the greatest discoveries. Join us as we embrace the messy, beautiful, and endlessly fascinating stories. Each episode is a testament to the power of our messy journeys and the beauty that emerges from the mess. So grab your favorite beverage, coffee, sparkling water, whatever it may be, and prepare to be inspired. Are you ready? Let's get messy. Welcome back to another episode of Everything's Messy podcast. I am your messy host, Sarah. Okay, so today is a very special episode. Make sure you listen all the way to the end for an exciting announcement. I have with me today my bestie of gulp, almost 30 years, maybe more than 30 years. This is Channa, and we have had a messy ride together and separately. We've agreed on a few things, disagreed on a lot. You know, we have so many different worldviews, but somehow we're able to come back to the middle and have this friendship that has been going strong for so long. Welcome, my dear. How are you?
I am great. Thank you. Thank you for finally having me on here. And I say
know.
finally, not because it was you dragging your feet, but me.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Took you 2 years, but here we are, and that's okay. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit of your messy background?
All right. Well, I am a mom of 3 kids. I can't even say teens anymore because my oldest is 20, which I'm not old enough to have a 20-year-old.
Right, we're not. Yeah, no.
Wife, full-time nurse. I'm an ICU nurse also.
Which is partly why you're here today. For this episode, it's going to be a little different, as my messy warriors who follow me know that we talk about unconventional hacks, basically, or unconventional wisdom. We sort of buck the conventional medical system. But I always say, especially on this show, I feel like there's going to be a place sometime in the future where conventional medicine is going to meet naturopathic, or whatever you want to call it, holistic medicine, because I do think there's a place for both.
Absolutely. 100%.
So as we talk about you being an ICU nurse, which is obviously important, there are people that do get sick that need to have that kind of care. What is the career in the medical profession taught you?
Everything. And so much. I mean, obviously you go to school to get the education, there's the science classes, there's the nuts and bolts of it, how do things work and what do they do when they're together and how do disease processes work? And you need to know all of that before you get into the medical world. I hate when people go, oh, I don't see the point of nursing school. It just teaches you how to pass a test. Well, that's true. But like you need to have those fundamentals, you can't just throw a roof on shambles of
no foundation.
Right. No foundation. You need a foundation. So, schools definitely taught me the foundation and the sciences and the who, what, where, then, and the why. But actually working in the medical field has taught me that no disease process is the same, that everything is different for every person because every person is different. Chemistry is different, and our minds and our bodies are all completely different. And so conventional medicine teaches us that, okay, everything fits in this nice, pretty little box. This is what this disease process looks like, and this is how we're supposed to treat it. And I'm sitting here going, no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work for me. So yes, like
as maybe has been a running theme throughout your whole life.
And so, obviously as a trauma ICU nurse, you come in broken and bloodied, and I'll fix you up to the best of my ability, and deal with everything else as
it comes.
yeah.
Yeah. What would you say that a lot of the education that you had was the like pharmacology of it, like having to figure out what drugs, or is that mostly given by the doctor and you're just there to follow the orders?
I mean, as a nurse, my job is to follow the orders. The great thing about building a good, trusting relationship with your doctors is that they trust you and they trust your judgments. And so a lot of times we have rounds every single day. So I've been the one at bedside 24/7 with the patient. So, hey, this hasn't been working. I'm noticing this. What do you think about this? And a lot of times, once you've built up that rapport with them, they trust you and your judgment. But at the end of the day, doctors are putting in the orders. They're doing all the pharmacology. I'm just giving out the medications. Now, what I do is I have a brain and I can critically think, and I question orders all the time. Hey, this isn't right. We're already giving this. Are you sure you want to do this? Or I checked their labs and their labs show me this. So can you educate me as to what the indication is for this medication? Because in my brain, that's not computing. And 9 times out of 10, you have a doctor who goes, oh, it's because of this, or oh, it's because of this. And half the time it's like nephro, because they're just like the be all, and like they're they almost run the ship, because our kidneys,
Right.
So it's not just the pharmacology, it's kind of everything wrapped up.
Right. No, and I love that. And I love that you're coming from a place of, you're not just taking it at face value. You are asking not only to be educated, but also questioning, is it necessary? And I love that. I'm always telling people on this show, encouraging them rather to be their own health advocate, to be their own self-advocate.
Nobody else is going to fight for you.
Right. And so, and, a lot of times there's pushback from the doctor. Sometimes they get gaslit because they're like, look, I went to medical school. You're getting your information off google.com or whatever search engine you're using. Don't put your knowledge to test with my medical degree. And while I have respect for them going through medical school, sometimes a patient knows their body more and better than the doctor might, on top of, depending on what that doctor has come in to treat for, they're really only looking at one system rather than the whole body.
Right. I feel like the conventional medical system isn't set up for questioning things outside of the box. And so it does take somebody who is an advocate for themselves to say, hey, this isn't working, or hey, I want to do this. And even when you do that, a lot of times you get the kickback, and it takes you literally standing up for yourself before something changes or is different. And unfortunately, that's just the way.
Yeah. It is.
And a lot of that's time constraints too. Like, again, I'm in an ICU, so it's a little bit different, but in terms of like going to your provider, they're allotted a certain amount of time, and they got to get you out. And so if you're still there, they're like, yeah. And that's because the guy above them is saying, hey, you're not getting your quota in today. I'm going to need you to work a little bit faster.
Right. That, and then sidebar, the coder who has to code everything now has to find some sort of obscure IC code that's like not even why they came into the visit to begin with. And that's like
workaround.
Right.
Because the insurance company is going to say, no, I am not going to approve that test because that doesn't fit in the box of this disease process. So if it doesn't fit inside of that box, I'm not going to approve it. And then the medical doctor's going, yeah, but,
right. Or they're not, and they're like, I'm not, make another appointment. We have to put this under a different category, basically. And sometimes I understand that, because I understand they have to get paid too. But when you think about the Hippocratic Oath, when you think about that you're there to help these people and, heal these people, essentially, I feel like that gets lost in translation, because they're looking at one system and one block of boxes, like you said, and they are just working within that box, mostly to do with the coding and then the payout system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I get that. And as you know, I'm going back to school to get my nurse practitioner's license. And these are things that I'm seeing and running into is that, again, if you want to get paid, it's almost like you got to fall in line. And there's so many of us that don't want to fall in line. And I wonder if when I get out on the other end, if I'm going to be able to buck the system, or if I'm hoping that I can buck the system.
You're a bucker. I say that you're going to buck it. I know you will.
I am going to buck the
You're going to
system.
bucker.
And then my finance guy, my husband, is going to be like,
you need to stop.
We need a paycheck this month. I'm going to need you to stop giving away the house.
Look at all the people I've healed. And that, right? That's so fulfilling.
You see those people, they appreciate you.
And they will. And they will. So ideally, would you say somebody who is self-advocating is an ideal patient, or are they the labeled the nightmare patient?
I don't know. I need somebody who's willing to fight for themselves.
Yeah.
Because I think more often than not right now in healthcare, we're just seeing chronically ill patients that shouldn't be chronically ill because they're not willing to fight for themselves or not willing to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, when I have like 30-year-olds inside the hospital with pancreatitis, you don't get that unless you're like a serious alcoholic or you have some other comorbidities. But at 30 years old,
we've turned the wrong way.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
And then you tell somebody, hey, I just need you to change a few things. I don't need you to drink every day, maybe once every couple weeks, and maybe just a little bit here and there. And I'm going to need you to put those Cheetos down and maybe not stop at Taco Bell all the time.
And there's resistance, unfortunately. Lots of resistance.
Yeah, they don't want to do it. And I get it. Lifestyle changes are hard, but it's
in the message, right? Lifestyle, you literally can change your life by making these tweaks that maybe are a little more inconvenient or take a little more willpower, but it will literally change your life, maybe save your life if you're willing to do these things. And I just love that you're out there not preaching that, but encouraging that, because I think we need to hear that.
Oh yeah, I walk in and I tell people, I'm going to mom you / nurse you at the same time right now.
Buckle up.
Right. Buckle up. I'm going to need you to lose a couple LBs.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be right back here.
Yeah.
As they're sitting there going, get me out of here. I hate it here.
Just give me the next pill so I can be on my way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they just won't make changes.
Right. But it's so refreshing to hear, somebody on the inside, and I'm very careful. I don't bash the conventional system, but I do point out where its shortcomings are. And there's never a perfect system, which is why I do encourage people to come into their own and take that self-accountability and responsibility, because it's the only way we're going to change things. We're going to, stop having prescriptions for, what is it? I think it's 92% of the population is on a prescribed medication long-term. That's insane. That's an insane statistic to me.
And what else can we do? We can start taking care of our minds and our bodies.
Yes.
Like, I know that you and I were going to segue into the whole conventional Western versus Eastern medications and holistic. And I definitely like to take a holistic approach, or would like to take a more holistic approach. So that's kind of the part of nursing that I absolutely love, which is why I wanted to get into being a provider as a nurse practitioner, because I love teaching. I love taking somebody and going, okay, let's sit you down.
Teachable moment.
I'm gonna be a mom and a nurse at the same time, but I'm not just then gonna send you on your way. I'm gonna do everything I can to give you the tools necessary. So hey, let's take care of our mind. Let's take care of our bodies. Let's start with a little bit of exercise. Exercise is hard, but maybe you can take a couple steps outside the door, get outside, fresh air, sunshine, start with that. Baby steps, you gotta crawl before you can walk, and walk before you can run. And so if you can just teach your patients that, doing something as simple as that, or even
Well, and just letting them know if they meet themselves where they're at, right? We're not looking for perfection right now. We're looking for progress.
Yeah.
We're looking for you to take those first few steps. And if it's only a few, hey, that's a few more than you took yesterday. And
Right.
so there isn't this added pressure to make yourself feel guilty or feel bad or, oh, I didn't do it the right way. There's no right way. It's what's right for you. And
Right.
I feel like people, they get caught up in what it should look like than what it should look like for them. And I think that's a hard lesson.
Well, but that's so hard because we sit here on our social medias all day with all of these influencers and everybody looking absolutely perfect. And we go, oh my gosh, if I'm not there, then I
Then
what's,
why? Why bother?
and they don't see. And so I tell people all the time, give yourself a little bit of grace. It's going to take some time. Healing takes time, whether it's healing from an accident or a healing from your disease process. Healing takes time.
It does.
And
And I'm hearing myself. I'm like, oh, I'm hearing myself. I love it. No, I love it. And I think it's good. I want all of the messy warriors out there to hear that, first of all, I'm not full of shit. But second of all, that they are, and I say this, there are good people on the inside, air quotes being used, on the inside of the conventional method. Yeah. But I do feel like you can work harmoniously with something that is holistic. I do. I think, and I think it's important. I really do.
I do too. And I think part of our nursing practice teaches us to teach the whole person and not just the disease process. So, again, it's not just about going, oh, I need to give them this medication and then go to the next patient, but it's talking to them, getting to know what their life is like, talk to them about diet, talk to them about nutrition, talk to them about exercise, little things like that, or super stressed people. Like I obviously have a high stress job. I don't meditate the way like a normal person, or I don't want to say normal, but the way somebody thinks of
Traditionally of meditation.
where we sit in a quiet room and everything's nice and quiet. You just like cross
That
your
takes
legs.
practice. That takes practice.
But for me, if I am in a stressed environment and I know it, I literally will walk out into like the stairwell at work, for instance, and just take in some like deep calming breaths and let them out slowly, like in through your nose, out through your mouth. Whoops, sorry. And go with that and just kind of count to 10. And that in and of itself helps like bring you back to center, calms you down. Like that's a form of meditation too. Like
No, it
it's
is.
not
Deep breathing. Absolutely.
100%. And so I think that if people see bits and pieces of it and they have a better understanding of what it actually is instead of just having this picture in their mind of what it has to look like. And if it doesn't look like that,
Then they don't do it.
yeah, exactly. They just have to find like the little wins, I guess, in their own lives, and then they can go from there.
Yeah, agreed. I love that so much. I really do. So, $64 million question. What would you put in order of importance of diet, exercise, or supplements, being outside? Give me the breakdown. Is it a bilateral? Is it unilaterally? Is it down the list? What are we looking at?
First of all, I am not a certified medical professional.
It's okay. I have a legal disclaimer I put on the beginning of my podcast, so you're fine.
Thanks.
I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV.
Perfect. I just honestly think it's a healthy combination of all of it. I don't want to say that you have to like you can't diet without exercise and you can't exercise without diet. And if you don't do it in the right combination, like you're not doing it right, because what's right for you isn't going to be what's right for me. And I don't want to discourage somebody just because they don't think that they have the right recipe, right? You don't need supplements to if you just want to eat right and eat healthy and exercise, you don't need the supplements, but if you want them and you can afford them, because that's a whole other level, and you understand them, or you put your effort into understanding them, then that's a great layer to add to all of it. But I just think that people need to start learning to take care of both their mind and their body. And so like getting rid of some of the stressors in your life, or at least learning how to deal with, manage, and or cope with those stressors in your life. And
Yeah, so you keep mentioning mind, and that seems to be first. So I love that. So when we dive into that, I also feel like when I extract that from you, it sort of is more like the amount of stress that people are under, because it does seem like all of us are under copious amounts of stress, no matter what our job is, no matter what we're doing, no matter what's going on. That almost to me, like you were talking about getting grounded, doing your deep breathing, that almost to me needs to be the start of it, because we really can't throw ourselves into a nutritional diet or an exercise program if we're not right in our mind, relatively speaking. So if we can quiet that stress and then sort of make a quasi, this is when I'm going to do this, and this is when I'm going to do this, and then like a list, so to speak. Although I feel like sometimes lists stress people out too, because it's a demand, right? It's a,
to break down over a list today.
I know, but we have to have, I think most of us are sort of like orderly. We have to have, like, we have to know what's coming. We have to know how to prepare. So preparing our minds to receive this new information that's going to happen, I think is almost, or if not more important than actually doing the healthy eating and the exercise. Because I know, and there's a really good book out there. It's Art of War or War of Art. I don't know. It's flipped, one of the two. And it's Pressler, I think, is the author. He talks about our biggest downfall is resistance in ourselves. And I like to call, and I've said that before, the resistance is that inner toddler who wants you to binge watch Netflix, who wants you to go get the Ben and Jerry's ice cream, who wants you to do all of these comfort things because it wants to give us the comfort. So the toddler, a lot of times, will win out. Right? So we have to somehow have these blocks built in our head of fighting that resistance, or fighting the toddler rather, and making sure we can put, I used to say self-discipline a lot, and I still do believe in that. But right now I also feel like it's that first step, right? The first step is the hardest. So if you can get out there and go and do that first step, then the next step will come, and the next step will come. So I think it's also just being really clear about how you prepare yourself to do that.
Yes, preparation is key. Like if you have this idea that you're going to go work out and you don't have a plan, then you stand there in front of the machine or at the gym and you go, I don't know what to do. And you get frustrated and you walk away, right?
And it's overwhelming. I know when I first
It's
started going to
very
the gym, it's overwhelming.
right. And then you buy into a program and they tell you, oh my gosh, count your macros, this, that, and the other. And you're going, what's a macro?
Yeah.
Then you learn, and like it's baby steps, right? So yes, you got to get your mind right, but at the same time, I realize that sometimes the gym can be a place of release for stress for some people, and I can just go run on a treadmill and feel a heap tons better about myself, or go outside and walk because I don't have a treadmill, and put on some loud music and just, I'd say
Escape.
run, but
Right. Well, but escape essentially. Yeah, you don't run.
yeah, I don't run. But sometimes not having a plan and just listening to loud music and running or walking or fast walking or jogging or whatever, like sometimes that just works too. So yes, you need to get your mind right, but at the same time, like that, I don't want to put that as a stigma for people either, that you have to get your mind right, because then I feel like
They don't
people
start.
already feel defeated because they already feel so crappy that they're like, well, I'm never going to get my mind right. So that's the first step. I'm not even going to make it,
We're using that term loosely as far as getting your mind right, because that's
Get your mind right.
all
I need to
relative
get my
to
mind
all
right.
of us. But I would say, so that kind of brings us to the $64 million question of also cardio versus weightlifting.
I see a purpose for both.
Okay, let me start with, what is your preference?
I like lifting more than I like my cardio. If I'm doing cardio, I stopped doing like the running a long time ago. I do more the low impact, steady state So I like to go fast walk. Plus it gets me out of the house with the dog, and she pulls me half the time anyways at her pace. So
you're just hanging on.
I'm just hanging on for dear life. But I've got like a 3.5 mile walk around the house here. So it takes me, I don't know, don't judge me, like 45
I'm not, that's
or so minutes.
You're walking. That's good.
But I love to do that. And I'm also not trying to like, I want to burn the fat, but I don't want to like kill the muscle that I've been trying to build either. And so I learned a long time ago that if you're out there, the runner, you know, there's a difference between if you look at like a runner's body versus like I don't, it doesn't even need to be a bodybuilder, but like a lifter's body. Like those are two different body types, you know? And now that we're in our 40s, skinny.
Okay, I don't know about you. You're 14 days older than me, okay?
14, and you remind me every day, every year.
When we turned 21, you reminded me every day for 2 weeks. So this is my revenge.
That was my one.
Yes, the dirty word perimenopause that we don't like to use. What did you call it? Go ahead. I want you to share with everybody what you call it.
Cougar Puberty.
Cougar Puberty. Okay. That's what perimenopause is going to be known.
Yeah, because I think that's what it feels like. Everything's changing. Yes. And then you're going to turn into this rock star of a cougar at the other end. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, and we talk about on this show too, the importance of, like you said, it's important for both, but specifically getting older. And I hate to sound like that, but conditioning our body to do the heavy lifting, because eventually, I don't know about you, I want to sit on the floor and play with my grandkids and not have to have 3 people help me up off the floor. Like I want to be able to do that. And how am I going to do that? Even if I'm just lifting my own weight, right? Maybe not even heavy lifting, just doing my own weight. I want to be able to do that, right? I
love body weight exercises. I got a tonal downstairs. I do half of my workout is on the tonal and half of my workout is body weight exercises. I have like 2 weights. That's it. Outside of that. So I don't do these crazy lifting anymore. A lot of body weight. And I mean, that's what they say in terms of like our bones and our bone density, keeping all that up, yada, yada.
So. And we don't want to talk about calcium deficiencies and all of that. We don't want to be boring here. Smoker scoff. But we want to, talk about it because it is important. And again, I've said this before. I get a lot of people who say, well, I don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I always tell them, you would have to do so much in order to get that kind of body frame. It's not going to happen.
Make you look like that.
It's not going to happen.
Lifting makes you toned, gives you a little bit of muscle pop, but nothing. If you want to look like that, that's dedication. That man was eating, I don't know, raw eggs and 500 grams of protein a day. Like you and I will never look like that.
Right.
Like, that's not.
Well, and that's just, and we're not designed to do that. I mean, women have more fat off the bat to begin with. So to get to that, not that you can't be super lean, but it's really not in our DNA to look like that. So I always want to just encourage. And I also want to encourage, no matter what age you are at, you can start with 0 equipment at home and still do lifting.
100%.
It's called a plank. Like you can start with whatever you've got. I don't know. How long can you hold a plank?
I don't know. It's been a while. Since I've actually timed myself.
I hate them. I have to do an exercise with it. So I'll do like the kettlebell in front and like pull it.
The pull through.
Pull it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if I'm just I will just fall. It will not. I can't. So I have to be doing something.
Core exercises, probably my least favorite exercise.
Is it?
But I look at my husband all the time. I'm like, I want a 6-pack so bad. That I'm not willing to put in the work for that. I'm like, yeah. You want me to do what?
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah. So what is your preferred exercise?
I feel like no surprise here if you know me. I like my leg and my booty workout. Yeah. I'm definitely a lower body girl.
Yeah.
I get to like my workout where I'm supposed to do shoulders and I'm like, ew, I hate shoulder day.
Well, and it always hurts. Yeah, it always hurts.
I don't like it. And then, my boys and my husband are like, I love this.
Right. Because they're boys, and that's okay. Right. And that's okay. So
like we call them a Dorito back. They're like,
yeah, exactly.
Dorito back.
Yeah. I guess it depends on which flavor.
I suppose.
So what unconventional modality do you partake in?
I used to do acupuncture. I loved acupuncture. And it's expensive. I'm being honest.
Sure.
But if I've heard that it's worked for so many, as soon as I tell people, oh, I've done acupuncture, I've seen some success in it. I really like it. I like the way it makes me feel. I like this. And they go, oh my gosh, I had this crick in my neck that wouldn't go away after 6 months, and the doctors couldn't figure it out. I did all the physical therapy. I did the hot, cold, and cold compress. I took all the medications. I went to an acupuncturist, just thought, throw spaghetti on the wall, see if it sticks. And it went away after 3.5 weeks of going to acupuncture. And I'm like, dang,
isn't that crazy? That's so crazy. It really is.
So
there's something in, especially if you're seeing a traditional Chinese medicine specialist, if you are going to the old salty dog, that is the...
I'm not going to some hack. We're going to the deal here.
Right. But there's something in that medicine that is very powerful. I don't know. I mean, do you think at all it's a placebo effect? Like you're just tricking your mind? I don't think so. There's got to be, and I'm not an expert at it, but I feel like there has to be something more than just they stuck a bunch of needles in me and now I feel better. There has to be something to that.
Well, right, because they believe in like meridians and all of these lines and channels in your body. I mean, if you walk in, they show you. I mean, there's like a It's like the anatomy guy when you walk in.
It's in your way. No, and they're really big on the energy, right? And so they tell you like liver is where you hold your anger. And so if you're very angry, you have like an inflamed liver and like these different kind of things. And so then you think about that in conventional terms, we can't really go to the doctor and say, hey, I think I have an inflamed liver, right? I mean, there's other things that are happening.
Right. But then you can do other things like take your antioxidants and change your diet, and you can get rid of the inflammations in your body by changing your diet.
Exactly. And we talk a lot about autoimmune disease and chronic illness, and I think it all stems from two things: gut imbalance and inflammation. Mm-hmm. And I feel like inflammation is the root and the cause of all evil, but it's the most overlooked.
It is. And I have a girlfriend who's a nutritionist, and she had an autoimmune disease that was like taking out her eyes, and the doctors told her
like she was going blind.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't, she would totally be mad at me for not remembering all of the things, but she changed her diet. As a nutritionist, she was like, well, I'm not willing to get needles stuck in my eye once a month or once every couple months for all of that.
Right.
Instead, I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to get rid of all inflammatory things. So like the seed oils and gluten. Alcohol and the glutens. Yes, when I go out with her, it's very interesting. But she even brings, like we went out for coffee the other day, she brings her own coconut milk or almond milk. Again, I don't remember which, but she brings her own because even the ones that they use in the stores have additives in them that she's like, no, those are inflammatory properties. I'm not going to. So she goes in and she goes, okay, I just want the matcha all by itself over ice. And then she breaks out her lip. She pours it.
That's being such a good self-advocate. That's knowing how your body works. And obviously that took some deep dives and some time that she had to spend to get there.
Sure.
And you don't have to do that right off the bat, but it was important enough to her. And so was it like macular degenerate? Like, is that why she had to have the shots? You don't know. Okay. No, that's okay. But that's pretty impressive that she was able to not only do the deep dive, but to able to undo the damage with the nutrition. That's huge. That speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm. And yes, that's like the extreme, but she was placed between a rock and a hard place. And she went, okay, this is not going to be my life. So I'm not going to change my lifestyle so that I can change my life.
Love it.
Whereas most of us are just like, oh, I just want to be skinny.
Right.
And too, but healthier in general.
Yeah. Yeah. That needs to be on a t-shirt. Lifestyle, change your life, or whatever you just said. I like that.
I don't know.
No, that's good. I like it.
Rewind.
We can do that now. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So last question, that over and over and over. Do you think the pendulum is swinging to more mainstream people are starting to pay attention? Do you think we're at that point yet? Or do you think we're still in the development phases of there's so much minutia and information out there, people are having a hard time making sense of it all?
I think that there is a lot of information out there. I think that there's a lot of misinformation. I think that the problem is that anybody can put something out there on the internet, and if it appeals to you or if it speaks the narrative that you want it to, you're going to gobble that information up. And unfortunately,
100%.
that's just the truth of it, right? Like if you want to believe something wholeheartedly and some one person tells you that, you're like, oh, see, I read it, or this person told
Must
me.
be true. Yeah.
And they've got an RN or a BSN or an MD behind their name, and so it must be true. I think the biggest thing, again, medicine it's called medicine practice because we're
practicing it.
We're practicing, constantly evolving, and what works for you doesn't necessarily work for me.
Right.
Oh, so I think that's another reason why it's important that everybody advocate for themselves, because I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Eyes wide open. And
like
so then, no. And then so could,
like yoga and meditation are probably the two ones that I prescribe to, I guess, on a regular basis. And again, we went over how I don't meditate like a normal
Sure.
meditate.
It's traditionally recognized as.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
I don't, not in a conventional meditation way. But yeah, I have to ground myself. I have to center myself. And that's a form of meditation. And yoga, my hot yoga, I love my hot yoga. And it's in 130 degrees. And people think I'm insane when it's 110 degrees here in Vegas. And I'm like,
it's like, why don't you just step outside?
Go outside. And I'm like, it's not the same. Like it's a little hot. But
because you want to hotbox that sweat.
Right. And like the red light therapy and just being in like that whole space, and
that also that's part of the mind thing, right? You're with like-minded people that are doing that modality, so it kind of puts you in that Zen phase, and so you're all kind of doing that together. Thoughts on cold plunging?
If I could handle it,
I
think it would be great. So like I wash my face usually twice a day, but sometimes when I don't, at least when I wake up in the morning, ice cold water to my face. I think that it's good. It's refreshing. It helps wake you up. And I think that it serves
tightens the face. Yeah.
Tightens you up. Snatches you.
I love it.
So I do think that there's some good things behind it, but I haven't studied it enough to know.
Sure.
But I think it would be, I'm just not look at all those polar bear people that for years. Polar bear plunge.
Yep.
There's
something to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, remember, I'm sure I can't remember where, but like somebody's pool, and you would get into the hot tub and then you would run and jump into the freezing cold pool. And like,
yeah.
Right.
So I did go to like a hot springs last year in Southern California. So cool. So much fun. Went with a group of girls for one of my girlfriend's 40th birthdays. And they have like the hot pool and the cold pool. And I don't remember what order you're supposed to do it in, but they tell you you're supposed to be in, I think, the cold for like 90 seconds or 3 minutes.
If you can stand it.
Bad details. Yeah. But they want you to be in there for at least that long. And then you can go back to the warm. So it's kind of interesting. So there is some sort of science behind it, and it's just not anything that I've studied up on.
Yeah, I think it has to do with raising your body temperature and dropping your body temperature.
And you got to keep your thyroid underneath. I know that.
Yeah. All right. So we have talked about both messy sides of conventional and natural modalities, if you will. And I think the one theme that comes through is all of us are dealing with challenges. All of us have life challenges, whether it's financial, health, relationship. There's all of these things that we're always dealing with, right? None of us are untouched by the messy journey of life, right?
Correct.
We would all agree with that. And so you and I understand that there is an importance to have an escape, and sort of an escape into sisterhood, friendship, that kind of thing. So,
100%.
right? So here comes the drum roll. You made it this far, so you've earned to hear what the big announcement is going to be.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Are you looking for an escape? Maybe just for an hour to laugh, cry, roll your eyes, or even just have a minute to yourself.
Or ever just want to embrace your feminine side. And what better way to do that than have the color pink riding shotgun, as pink isn't just a color, it's a state of mind. Thanks, Audrey Hepburn, for that quote.
Then look no further. Introducing the new podcast, Truth and Pink.
We're Sarah and Channa, 1979 Gen X, strong. But more Zennials, that forgotten little slice of Gen X with just enough millennial edge to know what TikTok is.
But way too cool to care.
Exactly. We grew up without cell phones, but we can still fix your Wi-Fi faster than your kids. Maybe.
And speaking of kids, ours, teenagers and 20-somethings. So not empty nesters just yet, but definitely not doing the diaper or play date thing anymore.
Absolutely. Basically, we're the women no one's talking about. So we're here to change that loudly.
We are blowing up the narrative that midlife women do not fade into the background.
Because spoiler alert, we're still here and we're freaking fabulous. And we've got things to say.
Like mom stuff, kid stuff, husband stuff,
current events with a side of snark,
fashion finds, beauty hacks, wellness obsessions,
and even the emotional support water bottle, which we all need.
We'll talk about perimenopause, a.k.a. Cougar Puberty, the hot flashes, the mood swings, and the fact that we can probably still deadlift more than your boyfriends and husbands.
We'll even dip into crypto and investments because smart is sexy, and no one said we couldn't be girly and savvy.
So yeah, we're fun, quirky, girly to a fault, but we can still whoop ass when need.
And we can afford life, but we're still hunting down the perfect lip gloss sale.
Always. This is for the women who feel forgotten, the ones balancing careers, families, hormones, and a sense of humor,
while secretly plotting to take over the world.
Welcome to Truth and Pink.
We're spilling truth, living in pink, and taking the world by storm.
One unapologetic, laugh out loud conversation at a time.
Join us for our live premiere episode on September 23rd on YouTube and every Tuesday thereafter, wherever you listen to your fave podcasts.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Truth and Pink and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Truth and Pink. See you there.
So it is, and we want to have fun. Look, for those of you that are my messy warriors, I am not leaving you. I will still meet you every week, and we will talk about the seriousness of chronic illness and autoimmune diseases and all of the things of finding our strength through that mess. But I think we need to bring a little bit of joy into each other's lives and lift each other up, especially as women in this stage. And I will not be forgotten. That is what I'm going to say, right? So really. So grab your coffee, your wine, or your emotional support water bottle and come along with us as we embark on this new journey. We are spilling truth, living in pink, and taking the world by storm. One unapologetic conversation.
Laugh out loud.
Laugh out loud.
Conversation at a time.
Introducing Truth
and Pink.
So don't miss our live premiere on YouTube, September 23rd from Las Vegas. Join us for all the fun and all the pink. Don't forget to follow Truth and Pink on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube of our YouTube channel. And like I said, I think this is going to be a wonderful journey. I so enjoyed having you here today. It was so much fun. And I am so excited for our next endeavor.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. And we're going to have to get you to talk more because they're going to get sick of hearing me talking.
That won't be a problem once you get me going.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Everything's Messy podcast, and we will see you later. Thanks for listening to Everything's Messy podcast. Whew, if you made it this far, give yourself a gold star or at least a nap. Honestly, if you showed up today and you were listening, you've already crushed it. I'm so grateful for you listening. If anything hit home, Share it, tag me, write it on a sticky note. I don't care. Just don't keep all of this messy goodness to yourself. You can find me on Instagram at Everything's Messy Wellness or over at my website, everythingsmessywellness.com, where I've got resources, coaching, and probably a new rant about blood sugar or something that's just nonsense. It's all waiting for you. Check out my YouTube channel. I've got all of my podcast episodes up there. And I'm on X at Everything's Mess. Or if you just want to send me an email, Sarah at everythingsmessywellness.com. Look, until next time, hydrate, take no crap, and as always, keep it messy.